In this video, you're going to see us replace a sediment water filter that's in a crawl space. Now, we were experiencing low water pressure, so we wanted to check the bladder tank and we looked at the gauge. This bladder tank has been replaced about a year ago, and you can see the red valve there. That will be turned off, which is to the right of the gauge. And now we're going to pan over here and we're going to concentrate on this water filter because you can see all the sediment buildup in there. So we think the simplest solution is replacing this water filter and see what happens from there. As you can see here, we have our red bucket, we got our blue wrench. That's going to be used to loosen the housing of to get access to the filter. You can see the lever up here, which that's going to turn off the filter to the bypass or off position. We're going to go to the off position, and there's a red button on top that relieves pressure. And then we got this blue ball valve, which we're going to turn off as well, and that's what goes to the hot water tank. So make sure you turn that off. Don't forget. And then you can relieve this pressure after you have both these shutoff valves turned off, and then put that in off position. Relieve your pressure. Got your bucket here. And all the mess should go in there, but if you do get some on the vapor barrier, you just wipe it up with a shop cloth or something, a rag or whatever. And that's where the red valve, remember, we're going to turn that off. And now we're going to get ready to loosen this housing. And now we haven't done this in a couple of years, so we shouldn't have any problems getting it off, but just in case, just take your time and don't try to force anything, because you don't want to break this PVC pipe, because it runs into it in the inlet side and the outlet side. So you can tap on this with a rubber mallet on the threads of the plastic housing, or just below, just a little bit. You don't want to tap it too hard, and you don't want to put stress on these pipes. So, because the bracket's only held with 2 Phillips screws. And so here we go with the wrench. Just going to try and hold it. Yep, there it goes. Breaks right loose. And now we're going to screw it off here. And the filter won't come out. It's stuck in there because of all that sediment. Well, I made a mess anyway. But that's okay. A majority of it went inside the bucket. And we'll get that filter out of that housing there and get that all cleaned up. So, as you can see, I'm still struggling to get the filter out. It's going to take a couple of minutes. It's been in there a while. But, I pull it out off camera, and now you can see how much crud is on that. That thing's nasty. So I'm confident that was our problem. And look inside there. Wow, that's gross. So we're going to clean that up with some vinegar, 1 part vinegar, white vinegar, and water. So here we are. We got the filter and everything off. And you don't forget to clean the underside of that. Now this is what it looks like. We got it cleaned up. Make sure there ain't no crud in those threads, and make sure that O-ring is not torn, and make sure it's clean. And you can see we got all that crud out of there. I mean, it is discolored, but that's to be expected. It's been on the house for several years. And now we're preparing to put the filter in the housing, just doing a final wipe. And I did, wet the threads here a little bit. So that way when it makes contact with the housing underneath there, that way it's not going to tear the O-ring or anything like that. So now we got the new filter in. It's a different style filter, but it's still a sediment filter. And it's seated all the way to the bottom. It fits over this little round peg or whatever that's in the center to help slide everything up. And now we're just going to screw it on here. And now you don't want to over tighten this. Put it on by hand. Do not use the wrench. And just kind of hold on to everything because you don't want to break these inlet and outlet plumbing pipes coming out of this. You want to create more of a problem for yourself. And I just, snug it by hand. And then I'm going to turn my plumbing on. And I'm going to move that lever to the filter position that's on top, that black lever. So I just now turned on that ball valve. That blue ball valve. And there we go. We got that turned on. And I got that to switch to the filter position. And I'm just double checking to make sure I got it where I need it. And I accidentally hit the red button and relieve pressure. And that's a good thing the bucket was there because it got that residual water. And I just made sure I wiped up everything. And it's a good idea to leave the bucket there for a couple of days because if there is a leak for any reason, it's not going to go all over your crawl space. So get the bucket, get your filter, make sure you got that wrench. And I took the bucket out and dumped the excessive water out and wiped it out. That way, I'm going to put it back underneath. So, job well done here, right? Well, we got to double check our work and make sure we wipe everything down with the blue shop cloth. And when I went back in the house, the water pressure is phenomenal. So that was what was wrong. Variety is life. Like and subscribe.